All right, so today what you're going to do for 2.2 notes, after you've read the short story, now you're going to go in and you are going to annotate it. So this is going to be the note-taking portion. So annotating means that you are going to highlight or underline and write in the margin. So you're going to want your 2.1 notes out so that you know and can reference when you are annotating the story. I'll do the first couple paragraphs to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so as I'm reading it, it says the year was 2081 and everyone was finally equal. So I remember that in my notes when we talk about dystopian citizens, that there's often this division of classes. Yet, however, it's saying that everyone was finally equal. And after having read it once, I know that that is something that is forced onto them. So, and it says they weren't only equal before God and the law. So we've got religion and law, politics. They were equal in every which way. Nobody was smarter than anybody else. Nobody was better looking than anybody else. Nobody was stronger. So this is this forced equality. So I'm going to say that this is, if I look back at my notes, the societal characteristics are talking about this illusion of a utopian. So if everyone is equal, there should be no problems, right? So I'm going to say it is an illusion of utopia, or this like perfectly equal society. Oh, how great, we're all equal, so there must be no problems whatsoever. It also says due to the 211th, 12th, and 213th amendments. So this is going to connect back to that idea of bureaucratic control with tons and tons of rules. Okay, so I'm going to write it over here, bureaucratic control. Okay, and it also shows that there is a United States handicapper general, so this is going to be that figurehead. Now, if you are someone who doesn't like to just underline and you want to annotate for color, you could use one color. You could do different colors for different things. So for example, my notes for control were all in purple. So I might actually go in like this and highlight in that color so I know that those are types of control and that my societal characteristics were this kind of weird orangey color. Not sure if I can find it. Anyways, I'm going to say this is an illusion of utopia. So like everyone is equal and there's forced equality. Okay, so I'm going to highlight some just key words and phrases, not the entire sentence. Some things about living still weren't quite right though. So, this is showing that there are some like flaws. April for existence still drove people crazy by not being springtime. And it was in that clammy month that the HG men took George and Hazel Bergeron's 14-year-old son Harrison away. So we know that this is going to be our protagonist because we have already read it. Okay, and here is Harrison and that he's taken away. So something was different about him. It was tragic, all right, but George and Hazel couldn't think about it very hard. They couldn't think about it because that was one of those controls. So I'm going to highlight it. Couldn't think about it. Hazel had perfectly average intelligence, which meant she couldn't think about anything except short bursts. George, while his intelligence was way above normal, had a little mental handicap radio. So this is one of those controls. And this is not just a bureaucratic control because it is one of the amendments. It is also a technological control. It is forcing him to be equal in thought as his wife. It was required by law. So again, He had to wear it at all times, tuned to a government transmitter. Every 20 seconds or so, the transmitter would send out sharp noise to keep people like George from taking unfair advantage of their brain. So we've got this example of oppression. Can't have any talents better than anybody else. Okay? So that's how I'm going to go in and annotate. Whenever you're underlining or highlighting something, not every single one, but in the paragraph, you should have at least one thing written down in the margin as to like what this is an example of. Is it an example of one of the big ideas? Is it an example of one of the archetype characters, of the setting, of a conflict? Just look and use your notes, and that's what you can be writing in the margin.